actually have been thinking about running like a half marathon at some point. Do not really want to be perceived, but there's nothing that I want to do at the minute, so I'm really struggling. I'm gonna feel all the pain off and I'm gonna cry. I was on the verge of a breakdown. Like, it was not a good look for me. So I'm having a pretty good reading month so far. We're like about a third of the way through the month, and I just finished filming episode 2 of Shell It or Scrap It if you want to go and check that out. It's my main vlog project for 2024, and I feel like I did a good job with the second episode in what we're trying to achieve in that project, which is to shelve my overspill of books, to get them off the floor and get my book collection down to a more manageable amount. And I have currently read 4 books so far this month, and I'm currently in the middle of 3 as well. So at the weekend I put a poll up on Patreon, and the question that I asked my patrons was, what should my next read be? But really the question was, what should the low-key theme of next week's vlog be? Because I'm feeling on top of all of my reads right now, and I want to keep tackling my TBR that I've set for the month while also throwing in a couple of like little extras where I feel like it. So they actually did me dirty, because the options I gave them was anticipated release or sequel, because actually a few of my anticipated releases were released in February, so I have a little stack of them that I would like to get through. But sadly, no, they chose sequel, which, I mean, I know they're only looking out for me because I have a real issue with sequels. I'm mainly a series reader, and I feel like I never have time to continue series because I'm always like reading for projects or like obligations or book clubs or something. But I really wanted to do anticipated releases this week, but nay bother. So 2 of my current reads are kind of sequels. One definitely is, and then one is just what I happen to be currently reading. So we'll go through those first. My main read that I'm definitely going to be chipping away at this week is Sharp Ends by Jo Abercrombie. This one is not technically a sequel because it is a collection of short stories, but it's a collection of short stories within the First Law universe. So I'm only reading this. I don't even like short stories, and I'm only reading this because I am hosting a read along of the First Law universe. So in the reading order of the extended universe, this one is book number 7, and I'm having an okay time with it so far. I feel like that is mainly because it is a collection of short stories, so I'm just reading one every day. The longest one so far has been just under 30 pages, and because of that, like, it's fine, but I also don't like short stories. So I don't really care about a whole lot of them. It's just easy to read because I'm doing it in like very short segments up until the live show, which is this coming Sunday on my channel. The last one that I read, actually, I did enjoy. It was called Wrong Place, Wrong Time, and this collection of stories takes place from before the first trilogy starts up until, I imagine, just before the second trilogy starts. So we've had some like backstory on some of the main characters of the first trilogy. We also have kind of a series of short stories that is telling a story throughout this that follows the same characters in every other story that we read. But the reason why I liked Wrong Place, Wrong Time so much is because it follows, I think, 3 essentially NPCs, people who are in the background while other things are happening. So in Best Served Cold, there's like a massive incident that happens with a brothel, and in here we follow one of the women that works at the brothel and what she is doing and what happens to her during the time that this big event is playing out in Best Served Cold. And I thought that that was really cool and really clever and just like a little bit interesting to think about the like little people while these big events are going on. So I definitely have enjoyed that one the most, but overall, like, it's just a collection of short stories to me, and I'm very ambivalent about it. The second book that I'm currently reading is the one that isn't a sequel, and I have spent the weekend painting my bedroom, so I have listened to a lot of audiobook. Like, I listened to an entire 470 page book, and then I started a second book, which was the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. As y'all know, I've been really enjoying non-fiction audiobooks recently. This is one that I got from Book of the Month. I only have it because it came with Book of the Month, like one of the months when I was working with them. But I do like John Green, and I'm so glad that I have this, actually, because I've decided to listen to this on audio purely because it helps with my TBR, because I do own a physical copy. And John Green's mind is so interesting. This book is almost like him having an existential crisis. He is essentially reviewing things to do with humanity, and they're very like random things. Like one of the things in here is like Canada Geese, Diet Dr. Pepper. He reviews like You Will Never Walk Alone, which is like the anthem for Liverpool Football Club. Air conditioning, the internet, sunsets, a whole bunch of random stuff, but like the way that he connects them to the human existence, and it almost goes through like a process that makes this very small thing seem very deeply profound is wild to me. And I really resonate with some of the things that he says. Regarding Diet Dr. Pepper, he says how like on the grand scheme of things it probably isn't bad for him, but it definitely isn't good for him. But he feels like he needs to have a vice, like a little way to self-destruct, and like drinking Diet Dr. Pepper is such a small way to do that that satisfies his need to kind of rebel. And I felt that so much. That is something that I struggle with so much, and as somebody who's like, my anxiety is mainly fueled by guilt, it then fuels my anxiety because it gives me something to beat myself up about. So hearing that kind of somebody else just like generally deals with that was really kind of affirming for me and really resonated with me. But I just think that he is a very, very intelligent man, and some of the things that he's talking about in here, like he's so well read, and how he's relating his points to like random little quotes that he's read or heard in his time is just so interesting. So I'm really enjoying this one, and this actually has potential to be a 5-star for me, which is wild. And then the book that I started last night is the one that I don't particularly want to read, but here we are, and that is Shadowlands by Stacey Marie Brown. It's the last book in the Savage Lands series, but this one is the final book for this round of my Patreon book club, which is a fantasy romance book club where we read through entire series. And the reason why I don't want to read this is that the main draw of this series to me is that they're compelling, easy, like addictive reads, and by this point in the series I'm kind of over it, because like 6 books were the only real good thing I have to say about them is that they're compelling. The novelty's kind of wearing off, you know, because like they're also repetitive, not amazingly written. I don't like the smut, so they also have like a lot of things that I don't like about them, and the one good thing about them being that they're addictive isn't really enough to counteract the rest. But this one is a post-apocalyptic fantasy romance series following a girl who is the ward of the king. In this world, the veil between the worlds of the humans and the fae fell, which resulted in a war, and the city decided to split in half after that, with humans living on one side and fae living on the other. So our main character, from her position of privilege, steals drugs from the trains that transport them throughout the city and puts the drugs onto the black market, so that the people that profit from them are the people that need the money, as opposed to the profits lining the pockets of the elite. One day when she's doing this, she is caught at the checkpoint between the human and the fae side of the city and thrown into a maximum security prison, where she meets the dark and alluring fae warrior, or half fae warrior should I say, Warwick Farkas. I feel like you can even tell how tired I am of giving that synopsis, because every month I give it in a vlog and I give it in a wrap up, and if I read it in more than one vlog I give it more than once, and I'm just so excited for this series to be over. So I'm gonna be chipping away at this as well, and if I manage to read another sequel this week, that would also be great. I mean, this is the one that I'm mainly worried about, because the good thing about this series up to this point is that the books have all been really short, and then this one's like nearly 600 pages. So we'll see how I get on, but this one will definitely be done. This one is just going to be my audiobook, so tomorrow I do plan to do a little bit more work on the bedroom, so I'll read a chunk of it then, and also like when I'm walking Brie and stuff. And then this one I've been reading a story every morning, and then this is going to be my main read just until it's done. So my plan for today is to finish editing and like proof and schedule episode 2 of Shelve It or Scrap It, and then gonna try and get a workout in, because I am hosting Realmathon sprints tonight from 6 p.m, public ones. And actually that is probably something else that I should mention. I'm currently co-hosting Realmathon. I am a co-host for Team Time, and normally I have a lot of fighting talk. I don't have any this year. I'm just vibing, and we'll see what happens, because every time when I've come in like I'm gonna win this thing, like we're gonna do it, everyone attacks me and then I don't win. So we're trying a different tactic this year. I am back in the nightmare room today for a second coat of paint on the walls. They're currently looking a bit patchy. I'm hoping that everything really evens out with the second coat, and I am obsessed with this color. I am so excited for this room to be done, because it's going to be like super vibey and moody, and I am here for it. Like, I was super nervous about painting a room such a dark color, but I already think that it looks amazing and I'm so excited for this room to be finished now. I have just ordered the gloss as well, so I'm hoping to gloss all of the woodwork this weekend, which will also be very unfun. And I gotta be honest, I cannot be bothered painting today. I'm truly not in the mood. It was always my plan for the day, but it's not a very nice day. The windows are open for ventilation. The radiator is currently disconnected in this room. So I'm cold, I'm unmotivated by the weather. I also have already ran quite a few errands this morning. I took Brie to the vets first thing. No biggie, she was just having like a little checkup on something that proved, as I anticipated, to be not much of a big deal. And then I went and I picked up some things for dinner. I tried to call the doctors, but I got bored of waiting for them to pick up. So I'll call back later to try and order my prescription. And I've had lunch and now it is finally time to get the painting done. I am going to be listening to my audio. I had quite a lot of anxiety yesterday, so I didn't get much read because even though, like I said, I assumed that the thing that Brie went to the vets for this morning wasn't anything serious, I was still anxious about it because that's how anxiety be. But I am listening to the Anthropocene Reviewed today. I've already listened to quite a bit while I was taking Brie out and doing the shopping, but I have 6 hours and 15 minutes left, which on 2 times speed is about 3 hours. So there's potential that I could finish this today. However, I have no idea. I'm still gonna need a lot of audiobook for the rest of the month. So I have absolutely no idea what I'm gonna be moving on to then. But I guess we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'm gonna stop procrastinating. I'll try to stop procrastinating and finally get some of this painting done so that after that I can maybe move on with my day and do something more fun. This is a 30-minute country pop ride.
Of yourself instead. Celebrate yourself, even in the challenge. And breathe. Inhale.
3, I went for a run this morning. It is the first run that I have ever really been on, like the first time that I've ever been for a run and actually felt like I accomplished something. So I got up at 7. I convinced Curtis to come with me because I knew if I was gonna run, like I needed to get up and like have it done before 8 AM. And also I needed somebody with me because I knew that if I went by myself that I would just like walk and think, like continuously just think, I'm gonna run in a minute, I'm gonna run in a minute, and then never actually run. So Curtis came with me. It was actually really good. Peloton do a series of outdoor workouts which are like walks, hikes and runs, which are just like audio workouts. So I did one of those and I'm really proud of myself because I've always said like I can't run. And I actually have been thinking about running like a half marathon at some point and I'm like so far away from that. That's not going to be a reality like anytime soon. But I have actually very little interest in running, but I just feel like doing any kind of race is such an accomplishment that it's something that I want to do. So at the minute I think I'm going to run like once a week on a Wednesday morning and see how I get on. Obviously if I do decide to do a race in the future I will will have to actually start training properly, and I'll do that like if it comes to that. But at the minute, like it hurts and like I'm really feeling it now. I'm tired. My hips and like my leg muscles are a lot more sore than they are like when I do spin, because you guys know I spin all the time. But I'm really proud of myself and shocked that I'm at a point now where I can actually complete a run. Like I did have to stop a couple of times. It was almost like intervals. It was like walk for 40 seconds, run for 80, and like each effort was like a different length. So in 2 of the efforts I stopped from like walked for 10 seconds because your girl isn't really built for running, if we're being honest. But I'm really proud of what I achieved today. So I'm quite tired and I should be reading. If I'm being honest, I don't want to read Shadowlands. I have read like 30 pages. I wanted to get through a bit more. I think because I read so much last week, I'm not feeling super motivated to pick up a book right now. So I'm just rolling with it. I'm gonna play some Dead by Daylight, I think, because it's been a while since I've had like a good session. And you guys will have seen in the B-roll earlier, I made myself a jar of pick and mix, and I honestly, like, I don't eat sweets very often. I truly don't. This is gonna last me like 2 to 3 months, but I do like sweets. It's just I tend to buy things and they, like, I have a pack of mini eggs in my drawer that's out of date, which is how long I've had them. They went out of date in like 2022, and I actually just remembered that they exist and they need to be thrown away. But like, I will buy sweets and not eat them. But I have started eating sweets while I play Fortnite. Essentially, I reward myself for kills. So whenever I get a kill, I have a sweet. And I had a bag of pick and mix that I got in the Lake District in October, which has lasted me pretty much until January, and then I kind of refilled it, but like with less in it. So it was time for me to top up my pick and mix, and instead of going and getting like proper pick and mix, I literally just went to B&M and bought lots of bags of things and mixed it myself. So I'm going to treat myself. I think every time I put on a generator in Dead by Daylight, I'm going to treat myself to sweets. I have been playing PlayStation a lot more than usual though recently, so I think I'm gonna have to reserve the sweets to a Friday night thing, because it's okay to like have my jar of pick and mix on a Friday night. It's not okay to do that every night. So yeah, I'm gonna get on. I'm gonna play some D by D and then hopefully get some reading in before I fall asleep tonight. But honestly, the run has took it out of me, so I might just fall asleep as soon as my head hits the pillow. So today has not gone as planned for me. I had a nice easy day ahead of me. I was supposed to be doing sprints with my patrons for the majority of the day, which I always love doing daytime sprints because it's like, yeah, I'm working, but it's fun, you know? Like I'm just sitting, I'm chatting, I'm reading, great time. And I look forward to like daytime sprints so much. I woke up late first of all, which is always enough to send me into a spiral, but I woke up late and I just knew that I was not mentally equipped to do a live show today. Like I do not really want to be perceived. So I compromised with myself. I'm going to be doing sprints tomorrow instead, which means that the work that I was going to do on the bedroom tomorrow is not going to get done. I can't start painting the trims and like touching up the coving until Sunday anyway, because I don't want the frog tape to take the paint off. So the frog tape recommends that you leave freshly painted walls for 3 days before you tape them. But tomorrow I was going to sand down all of the woodwork around the window, because we have like a bay window with a window seat in it. We ideally do want to get that ripped out eventually, but I honestly, with the amount that I've spent on the bedroom, with the amount that I still have to spend, it's an expense that I don't want to pay right now. So we're going to paint it up instead until we get around to doing that. So that was the plan for tomorrow, but I'm going to be doing sprints instead. But honestly, like I just needed a day. I spent like an hour crying on the kitchen floor earlier, and there's nothing actually wrong, you know? I think it's just like a build up of keeping on top of work, keeping on top of reading, continuing to make progress in the bedroom, like planning ahead. I've been looking at carpets this week because that is the next step. Once the skirting has got 2 coats of paint on it and the coving's been touched up, we'll be looking at carpet and then like working out how much we think that's going to cost, making sure we've got the money available, and all of that stuff has just ended up, because like in myself I felt fine, but I've also felt a little bit, I guess, weary over the last couple of days, and I felt like it's really built up and culminated in me just needing a day today. And one of the things that's worse for my mental health is guilt. So now I'm sat here trying to be calm, trying to do stuff that I enjoy to kind of refresh so I can get back at it tomorrow. And I just feel bad because I'm thinking of all of the things that I could be doing today instead of just laying it, because essentially I'm doing what I would have been doing in sprints, just not sprinting, really. But that's just how it be sometimes. So I'm feeling a little bit sorry for myself, but I've got the duvet. I brought a duvet downstairs again for maximum comfort, and I'm trying to read because I'm like, if I'm not going to do anything else today, the least I can do is like make progress in my books. I have 2 stories left in this one, which I'm actually really not enjoying. I don't care about short stories at all, not even when it's connected to a series that I do like marginally enjoy. And this one I haven't made any progress in. I did make it to the page 100 mark, which is great, but I haven't gone past that. It's been a couple of days, so I'm gonna see. I've just finished the story that I needed to read today in this, and I'm gonna see if I can make some progress in this now. It's also something else that contributed to me not having a great day today is that it is Bree's birthday, and I forgot and I feel horrible. And I mean, I know that she doesn't know that it's her birthday, but I know that it's her birthday and I forgot to get her anything. So that was part of the reason why I was crying on the kitchen floor this morning. I feel like you can tell that I haven't been 100% this week because I'm not feeling very chatty. I normally have quite a bit to say, even if I'm not reading a lot, like I have quite a bit to say and check in on. And this week, every time I'm like, maybe I should update the vlog, I'm like, I have absolutely nothing to say. So I feel like the big cry that I had today was a long time coming, and I actually do feel so much better for having had a big, and it was like a big cry, like snot, dribble, like it was not pretty at all. I do feel a little bit better for it, but now I feel like it's kind of taken it out of me a bit. So yeah, I just wanted to check in, let you guys know that I am still trucking along. I'm just like hanging on by a thread this week, but hopefully I'll manage to get a little bit of reading done today and I'll feel a little bit refreshed, rejuvenated and able to get back at it tomorrow. Fingers crossed.
People ask us what we're doing, but it's all kind of confusing. It's like waiting for something great. Finally when you got it, wasn't everything you wanted, so you're sitting grinning bare. It's not the
So it's Saturday evening, and this morning I did manage to sprint. I teamed up with Leanne, who was doing Patreon sprints for her Patreon 48-hour readathon, so I just kind of jumped on those and managed to get through some stuff that I've been procrastinating on. I have finally finished the design for my February Patreon bookmark, which y'all know I have been stuck on. Like, I have been struggling, and when I am stuck on something, like, I procrastinate on it to no end. So I finally managed to push through and finish that, and the March one is also done, so I'm gonna send those in for print on Monday morning. And honestly, that is just such a weight off. And not saying that it's cured my mental health, because honestly, like, I've come here from just being sat kind of staring into space on the couch for the last 15 minutes, and I'm gonna go get changed into my workout gear and do a 30-minute ride. I don't always work out on the weekend, but today I feel like I do need it. Like, I'm normally, if I feel like this, like if I'm really struggling to be motivated, I will do things like, if I get up on a work day, I'll say, okay, these are the things that you need to do today. You need to edit 2 videos, and once you've edited 2 videos, if you can make it through that, then just do, like, you're free. You can do whatever it is that you want, but there's nothing that I want to do at the minute. So I'm really struggling, because it's like, well, when I get through this, what am I gonna do? I don't want to do anything. So like, what is the reward for getting through this thing that I don't want to do? And I am, like, gradually as the days go on, I am feeling a little bit better, but now I found myself kind of like with a free Saturday evening, and there's nothing that I really want to do. So I'm defaulting to my favorite thing, which is Peloton. And I'm hoping that a 30-minute workout will sort me out a little bit, and then I'm gonna get some reading done. And I think I'm gonna pretty much spend the rest of my night reading. But I realized that I've just gone off on a tangent, because the real reason that I'm here to check in with you guys is because while I was finishing up the February bookmark design earlier today, I did finish my audiobook, which was the Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. And I very much enjoyed this one. I gave it a very high 4-star. It was very nearly a 5, which I feel, I've mentioned this before, like when I did my best books of 2023. When it comes to genres that I'm unfamiliar with, I do tend to rate them a little bit higher. And I feel like fantasy now, I've just read so much of it that it takes a lot for me to rate it highly. Whereas I'll read from other genres, and I'm more likely to rate them highly than I am fantasy, if that makes sense. I really love John Green's mind. I am a little bit of a John Green fan. I remember the hype of The Fault in Our Stars, which I've read. I've read Paper Towns, Looking for Alaska, Turtles All the Way Down, and I haven't rated a John Green book less than 4 stars. I have on hold Will Grayson and An Abundance of Catherines because I know they're not his like most loved books, and at this point I've kind of grown out of that kind of YA contemporary, so I have read the best of John Green. And I know a lot of people always think that his writing is really almost pretentious, I want to say. The best way that I can describe it is like John Green is very much known for the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, and he has a Manic Pixie Dream Girl kind of writing style, and this is non-fiction, and honestly like it's just John Green. Like it's just the way that he expresses himself, and honestly like I've never had a problem with his writing style. I really love it. I really love the pretension, the overthinking, the kind of talking in circles that kind of happens in his books. And I also really enjoyed this, and I gotta say like the man has a lot of anxiety, and it really shows in this book, and especially because he wrote this during the pandemic. And as I've mentioned, like this is essentially an existential crisis in a book. It's John Green having an existential crisis and also finding the beauty and humanity at the same time. This is like part memoir within the essays because he does refer things back to his life and like relates it to the points that he's talking about, but it also like I think was a very interesting viewpoint to read from, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed hearing his take on the miscellaneous subjects that we have in here. For Realmathon, this got me like no points. The prompts are so hard this year. Normally it's real easy to kind of just go through and like easily tick off 5 prompts. I'm struggling. Like this wasn't a lot, okay? It wasn't great, but that left me needing another audiobook because my plan for tomorrow is to do more work on the bedroom. Curtis has been in there today and he has sanded down the window seat, which I don't think you guys will have seen from the area that I've been filming in. So he sanded all of that down and like cleaned it down, ready for me painting tomorrow. And I'm really scared that the masking tape, the frog tape that we've got, is going to peel off the paint. So I'm really honestly getting kind of stressed with that room at this point. But we're going to do a little test to see, to like make sure that it doesn't pull the paint off, but we are very much going to do it. And like Curtis is going to lay the tape, I'm going to go along and paint, and then the tape's coming right off to minimize the amount of time that it's spent like on the wall, to hopefully minimize any lifting, because Fire on Ball is a super finicky paint. And I'm also really scared because we're going to have like carpet fitters coming in and stuff. And yeah, I'm glad that we chose Faro and Ball for the bedroom. I knew going into it that people had said it was a bit of a temperamental paint. I definitely see why, and being somebody who has pets and who is a little bit of a clumsy person, I don't think Faro and Ball would swing for any other room in the house, but our bedroom is a pet-free zone, and honestly I only really sleep in there because our bedroom is a pet-free zone. I spend a lot of time like downstairs with Brie and with Hamilton and such, so I'm glad that we went for the bedroom. I'm just like a little bit nervous about finishing everything up, getting a really good finish on the paintwork and getting like the carpet. I'm refitting the plates on the plug sockets, the light switches. We need to fit a light fitting as well, and then get all new furniture, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I will show you guys some progress on that tomorrow as it's happening. And wait a minute my point of talking about the bedroom was to say that I have started a new audiobook. I've used all of my Spotify minutes now. I couldn't find anything that I was desperate to read on Scribd because I like to read books that I have a physical copy of so I can mark my page in them, and also it helps me get through my TBR. So I have actually started a book that I don't have, but I spent an Audible credit on it, and we're going with Path of Daggers by Robert Jordan, which is book 8 in the Wheel of Time series. I don't need to read this technically until next month. The live show is going to be, I think, the second Sunday of April, but I thought if I have so much time where I'm going to be listening to audiobooks, I might as well start Wheel of Time, because otherwise it's going to get to the time when I need to read Wheel of Time, and I'm going to be like inventing almost things to do to be able to get enough audiobook time in to listen to Path of Daggers. So I'll probably have that finished by the end of the month, which is also great because that will mean that I won't have like an epic fantasy book club book to read next month. Can't say I'm overly thrilled about that being my new audio pick, but it is what it is. I've only listened to like 15 minutes of it as well, so I don't have anything to report at this point. Good morning. I'm about to head upstairs and start working on the woodwork. I think I'm going to start by touching up the coving to see, like, hopefully, fingers crossed, that goes smoothly and it just needs like one coat of paint. And then I'm going to start working on like the door frames and the coving, and then I might finish by priming the window seat. But I need to be done in there by about 4 p.m. today because I really need to wash my hair. I normally wash it on a Sunday morning, but with me painting, obviously that's not a good idea, so it'll have to wait till this afternoon. But I do have a live show at 8 p.m. and I need to also obviously like make dinner and stuff before then. But speaking of that live show, it is for Sharp Ends by Joe Abercrombie, which I have now finished, and as I feel like we pretty much all expected, I gave this 2 stars. I didn't have an amazing time with it. It was absolutely fine. I liked 2 stories in here. The first one was the one that I mentioned, was it right at the beginning of the week? Had I already read it? I think it was Wrong Place, Wrong Time. And then the other one that I liked was the last one, which is called Made a Monster, and that is from the perspective of Bethod, way before, or at least like a few years before the start of the first book in the First Law series. I wasn't really a big fan of the recurring story throughout here that follows Havre and Chev, I think. It created like a thread of continuity throughout the collection, but I honestly just did not care all that much. And I feel like my interest in the final story in this, Made a Monster, really shows that I am, because like right now I'm not loving the First Law universe. I think that's super obvious, but I did really like the trilogy, and I thought that maybe like I wasn't gonna like anything from Joe Abercrombie again at this point with how I felt about this and the 3 standalones, which some of them I liked more than others, but I didn't really love any of them. But I think actually, and one of the reasons why I'm really excited to get into the second trilogy in the First Law universe is that I think I enjoy the series and I just don't enjoy the middle installments in this universe. I am definitely more of a series reader. Fantasy standalones typically don't do it for me. I generally don't like short stories, so I'm really not surprised that I didn't like this. I am a little bit concerned about the live show today though, because I have very little to say about this, and I think it's just me and Zaf doing this one. So I hope that Zaf loved it. I hope that she loves short story collections, and I hope she's prepared to carry this live show. I mean, at least it's only going to be a short one, because with it being short stories in general and only 350 pages, I don't really anticipate us spending more than an hour on it. But my other book club book that I'm reading this month is of course Shadowlands, and I'm not going to finish this today like I hoped, which is annoying, but whatever. I am 218 pages into it though, so I probably won't read too much today, not from this anyway. I'm hoping to listen to a little bit of Path of Daggers, which I started on audio yesterday, but this is fine. It's multi-perspective, which I don't feel is necessary, especially considering none of the other books in this series have been, and this has a lot of different perspectives. We're following, out of context, because like you guys, if you haven't read this series, won't know who a lot of these people are, but it's Killian, Scorpion, Warwick and Caden and Brexley. Why are we following all of the guys, and the only one that I actually care about in terms of these extra perspectives is Killian? Because Killian gives me like Laurie vibes from Fortuna Sworn. He's a Fey Lord and I love that. Everyone else I don't really care about. There is a lot of smut in here as well, because conveniently everyone has paired off with someone. So there is quite a bit of smut in here, and as I've mentioned, I'm not the biggest fan of the smut in this series, so I'm getting to skip a lot of it, which is great. But I'm gonna go because that bedroom won't paint itself, and I'll check in with you guys upstairs at some point probably, and also a little bit later on to wrap up this vlog.
It's not the worst thing that has happened, so you still okay. Baby, shampoo is coming. Baby, baby, it's true. Baby, it's true. I don't wanna be
So yesterday ended up being a horrible day, which is pretty much why I did not continue vlogging. The glossing process was an absolute disaster and I was on the verge of throwing a full-blown tantrum. So as you saw, like, we were doing the coving and everything was fine. Like, we ended up with a perfect crisp edge on that. The tape lifted up like a couple of tiny bits of the paint, maybe the biggest one like that much, and it also had like a couple of places along where like the paint had seeped under the tape slightly. So I went along with a tiny like paintbrush, like a paint by numbers paintbrush, and evened up that slightly wobbly edge and filled in like the tiny bits where the paint had lifted. Everything was fine. So we went into the glossing confidently, and Curtis was going around taping and I was painting behind him. So when he'd got all around the room taping, I had done maybe a third of the skirting. So he then started pulling it behind me, and I shit you not, it took all of the paint off. Like, there was no paint on this much of the wall. So then obviously I had to go back cutting in. I couldn't go in with a big brush because I tried that, and because I had to get so close to the skirting because it had no, like, it wasn't even the center of the tape, it was all along the edge. So I was essentially having to cut in a line again. So I've now got a little bit of paint on the skirting in a couple of places again. So I then went round with my tiny paintbrush again, painting this much of the wall all the way around the room, and I was on the verge of a breakdown. Like, it was not a good look for me. I also had like a little bit of a live show crisis that I had to clear up just before that. So yesterday was a write-off, and it did end up better. Like, I had the Catch Up Book Club live show in the evening, which was great and kind of like de-stressed me. And after like the initial 30 minutes of shock at the tape, I kind of just got into like fix it mode and got on with it. But it was not a good day, and obviously, like, you guys will know watching this vlog, I have not had a good week, and I feel like it very, very much shows. And I'm gonna say I'm sorry, and I know you guys are like gonna say don't apologize, like, it happens, and a lot of you guys like to see that not everything is perfect in everybody's life all of the time, and I appreciate that. But I feel like I need to apologize. I don't need to apologize, but I feel like I'm just gonna say like a sorry, because like a lot of you guys will come here to be uplifted, and I know I'm bringing the mood down. It's like if you go to hang out with your friends expecting a great time and somebody's being a Debbie Downer. So like, I know that I don't need to apologize, and like, I don't truly feel all that bad about it because these things happen. I'm looking forward to a brighter week next week. You know, sometimes you feel like you just need to limp yourself to Monday for a fresh start. That's very much how I feel, and I'm hoping that this coming week is a lot better. I did sleep in a little bit this morning, so I mean, it's not looking great, because when my mental health is bad, you'll know, because I sleep a lot. But we can only look forward, and I am genuinely going to try and make this week a better one. But I am going to be wrapping up this vlog here, and so I wanted to give you a check-in on my progress. I'm 218 pages into Shadowlands. My original plan was to have this finished by today, which obviously is not going to happen, or hasn't happened, should I say, because time is now out. But I'm pretty confident that I can finish it next week. I am starting a buddy read of one of my most exciting books on my March TBR next week, so that is definitely going to consume me, but I'm hoping to have that buddy read as my dominant read and then chip away at sections of this until hopefully this is done by the end of the week. In terms of The Path of Daggers, I don't really have any thoughts on it. If you guys have been watching my progress with Wheel of Time, you'll know it takes a while for me to warm up into each book. So I'm currently, I think, 89 pages in, because I texted Sandra last night and asked her to tell me what page I was on so I could put it on Goodreads. But I'm on, I think, chapter 4, and that is just fine so far. But I'm really happy that I'm making progress with this early on, because that means by the time it comes to the live show, I'm gonna be already done, which might be a worry if I don't remember what I need to remember for the live show, but at least it is a weight off my April TBR. So that's about it. Next week I'm gonna be starting that buddy read. I'm actually reading a few books that I'm a couple of books, should I say, because instead of having a third book in that vlog, I'm having to carry over this. But a couple of books that I'm very excited about, which is great because I feel like this week was me chipping away at books on my TBR that I need to read, as opposed to the ones that I'm most excited about. But now that this is out of the way, now that this week is done, we can look forward to a brighter week next week for many reasons. So do stay tuned if you are interested in next week's vlog. I do hope you've enjoyed this vlog if you've made it this far, and if you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.